Yo, what's happening, YouTube family? I hope that everybody's doing well out there. Last week, one of my mentees, they asked me a really good question, man. And that question was, Jeremy, what does career progression look like for product designers? If I decide to take this path, what are the other opportunities that may come my way, right? And the reason that I wanted to extend this conversation to you all is because I remember when I started out, I was a UX designer, right? That was my title. And to me, I didn't know the long-term career goals that I wanted or that I needed to ask myself at some point, right? I didn't know. But what I did know is that I was a Kanye West fan. And Kanye was somebody who started out as an engineer, and then he got into being a musician. And from being a musician, he got into fashion. From fashion, he got into stage design, right? And you see these different points throughout his career. But what I saw was that he was creatively limitless in the visions that he was able to create, right? And for myself, what I wanted was to be creatively limitless. And I wanted to work at a company that embraced that sort of mindset because I have a growth mindset. I started out being a front-end developer, got into illustration. From illustration, I learned what UX design was. And from designing mobile and web apps, I was intrigued by animation, and so I wanted to work at a company that embraced all of these different things that I was into. Now what I see is that for every designer's career, you know, if you've been doing this for a few years now, at some point you may have to ask yourself the question, do I want to continue to create, or do I want to have the ability to orchestrate? Do I want to continue to create, or do I want to have the ability to orchestrate? What do I mean by this? Well, if you work at medium or large size tech companies, oftentimes they have a career track if you want to grow in a particular company. So for instance, currently I work at LinkedIn. I am considered, my title is a product designer. The next level above product designer is called senior product designer. The next level above that is lead or principal product designer, right? If I wanted to continue to become if I wanted to continue as a product designer, there are these different levels. If I want to switch off to something else, there may be another career track that I can go through. But once you get to lead or principal, then I think that, in my opinion, you have to be self-aware of what you want next. A lot of times people will flirt with the idea of being a manager where they have the ability to orchestrate a little more, or they will, be like, yo, I tried management out, I'm gonna go back to being a designer, right? I like to create. That's what I do on a daily basis. That's what I want to continue to do. That's what brings me joy. Whereas for some people, when they take the management track, it's creation, but it's in a different capacity. You have the ability to create and impact somebody's career path, right? If somebody is having trouble on a team, you have the ability to influence the decisions that get made on a project. Whereas if you are an individual contributor, right? If you're a principal or lead or senior level or product designer like I am, sometimes you go through certain conflicts with team members, and that has to get escalated to your manager, right? Where they can help you out, and they can kind of just, help you as an individual contributor reach a decision with your teammates, right? But after being a manager, what's the level above that? You could become a director. After becoming a director, you can become a VP. In my opinion, I don't work too often with directors or VPs, but what I've seen is that they are a little bit more disconnected from the everyday things that happen on a project. What they want to understand are the higher level things that go on a particular team. If there's any troubles that are happening, if there's any blockers. So as a director, I think that, and as a VP, you have more influence over the culture, you have more influence over processes that happen on the team, and there are different skill sets that you need for each of these different levels, right? As an individual contributor, you have a technical ability to do something. As a manager, you should have more skills around conflict resolution. As a director or a VP, you are now dipping your toes into the business side of things, understanding, quarterly goals for a business, understanding how to give executive level communication, right? And you start to have a presence and influence over your team. Whereas as an IC, as a manager, you are in the weeds of the everyday battles that happen for designers, right? So I just think that people need more exposure to these types of conversations, so then you can map out your career. And if you map out your career, you might be able to also map out how you financially lived your life. And like, I'm here now, but how do I get over there, right? If I want a certain financial stability in my life, what does that look like? And who can I talk to about this? So the point of me making this video was not to delve deep into each of these levels, but I do hope that it gives you some clarity and exposure to the different levels that you might go through at medium or large size tech companies. And then you can, go on LinkedIn, do your research, and if you aspire to work at a certain company, like Amazon or wherever, you can do a LinkedIn search for, designers at such and such company. You could see all the different designers that work there, pay attention to the titles that they have, and reach out to them to learn more about what that structure looks like inside the organizations that they work at. Whereas if you work at I'll just say this real quick, if you work at a startup, those levels might not apply at all. They have evangelists of design or whatever, right? But yeah, guys, if this video helped you in any way, you already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.